hear us?
Yeah, I can hear y'all perfectly.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning. So we're here today for your rescission hearing. We're going to get started with that, okay?
Okay.
Good morning, I'm P.O. Meisier, hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. Can the board members who are present today please state their name for the record?
Deborah Smith Palmieri, Joy Chance.
Councilmember Rodriguez. Good morning.
This is a
Morning.
rescission hearing concerning Castro Johnny, number 428466. Today's April 10th, 2025. This hearing is being conducted via video at the BOPP Central Office and Carl Robinson Correctional Institution. This is a public hearing and public access. This hearing is available via video live stream. You may state your name and inmate number for the record, sir.
Johnny Castro, 428466.
You have counsel here today. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Attorney Patrick Dunn from Inmate Legal Assistance Program.
This is a rescission hearing to determine whether you have violated conditions of your release. I will review and make findings of facts to each of the charges against you. If I find you have violated one or more conditions of your release, the board will consider whether or not your release should be rescinded. The decision made by the board today will be made final. This is an administrative hearing. The rules limiting the type of evidence admissible in a criminal trial do not apply in a parole rescission hearing. Disputed charges will be resolved by the preponderance of the evidence. The preponderance of the evidence means evidence that taken as a whole is more credible and convincing than the evidence offered in opposition to it. If at any time during the hearing you have a question about the procedure, feel free to ask me about it. At this hearing, you have certain rights, which I will now review with you. Did you receive the written notice of the hearing?
Yes, I did.
Did you receive a packet of information which includes the rescission notice and information supporting the charges against you?
Yes, I did.
You have a right to be represented by an attorney at this hearing. You have Attorney Dunn here representing you today. You have a right to submit relevant documentary evidence. Do you have any relevant documentary evidence to submit today?
I do not have anything at this point.
At this hearing, right to call voluntary witnesses and cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you have any witnesses to testify today?
Just my client.
Are you prepared to proceed with the hearing at this time?
Yes.
So I will review each charge and inform you of the information underlying the charge. I will then ask you to admit or deny each charge and will give you an opportunity to respond to the charge. If you choose to make no reply to the charge, the hearing shall proceed and my decision will be made on the basis of the information available. At the conclusion of the fact-finding portion of this hearing, I will inform you of my findings, and the hearing will then be turned over to the board to consider your suitability for re-release. The testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So, Mr. Castro, can you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear, solemnly affirm, as the case may be, the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God without penalty of perjury.
Yes, I do.
So we're looking at is charge 1, which is new conviction. On 10/23/24, Mr. Castro was released onto community release to the Open Heart Halfway House. On 1/24/25, the offender's parole officer was notified by East Hartford Police that Castro Johnny, number 428466, was in a verbal altercation at his girlfriend's residence and pushed the AC unit out of the window. After contacting the halfway house regarding Castro's whereabouts, he had just returned from a common pass to Walmart. Castro deviated from his shopping path to his girlfriend's residence and was charged with disorderly conduct due to the confrontation. Castro violated the community release agreement. He read, acknowledged, fully understanding, and signed. On 1/24/25, Mr. Castro was arrested for disorderly conduct, annoy, interfere in person. On 3/18/25, Mr. Castro was convicted of disorderly conduct, annoy, interfere in person, and was sentenced to 45 days jail. Would you like to respond to the charges?
Yes, I would. I would like the board to take into account the fact that my client admitted he made a mistake. He took responsibility for it, and he has served his time for that. There is no question that the gentleman understands his actions and understands he made a mistake, but I would request that the board consider all of the information of what this man has done for himself over the last number of years while he was incarcerated. If the board wishes to know, the gentleman has done a remarkable job since he was incarcerated. He has completed the TRUE program. He has an OSHA 10 certificate. He completed SRG. He's studying for his GED. While he was out, he was looking at a CDL, a real estate license, and completing the GED program. The gentleman has not had a ticket since February of 2022, which shows he is taking many, many positive steps in the right direction. While he was out, he had a job almost immediately. That job is still waiting for him because of his work ethic. They like him, they want to have him back. What occurred may have been a mistake, but it should not overshadow all the work this gentleman has been doing to improve himself. He remained in constant contact with his parole officer. The 3 months he was out, there's no violations, there's no dirty urines, there's nothing. This was a mistake, and quite honestly, a very minor one. I don't know if the board has in front of them the police report, but I would like to quote from it. On page 2 of the police report, the victim says that it was only an argument. There were no threats of violence. And this is at page 2 of the police report. On page 4 of the police report, the victim said to the police that she felt safe staying in the house, that she did not feel threatened by the gentleman in any way. This is very important because this shows that this was an argument. This was not an overt act against the victim. And again, the gentleman did take responsibility for it. He made a mistake. He pled guilty. There's no question about that. But it should not undo all of the years of good work the gentleman has done to improve himself. I believe that this was just a minor blip on his record. I believe that if he's re-paroled, this board will not be seeing him again. He is under 5 years of special parole, so he understands that anything that goes wrong, he will be back. So he has taken monumental steps. If I may ask him a question, sir, you've even considered taking counseling while you were out, correct?
Yes, I was gonna take therapy because when I was younger, I was going through therapy. But now, since me and my mom has been keeping in contact, and me and her made an agreement that my childhood past is like not affecting me now, but I would like to talk more about it with me and her. But I would like to talk through it with another person, and that's going through therapy.
And you did have therapy when you were incarcerated for anger. And that's one of the reasons you want to continue with therapy is to deal with anger management issues.
Yes.
Correct? And
yes.
Was I correct in saying that you still have your job if you are re-paroled?
Yes, I was just talking to the general manager yesterday, talking to him that I have my hearing today, and he told me to let him know whatever happens today, that no matter what, I'm still gonna be coming back to work with him, because he wants me to go back to work, because like you said, my work ethic, I was helping everybody out as soon as I went to that job. I even volunteered on a day off to go in so we could do a commercial cleaning.
Okay. And as far as the victim of this, you are not going to be in contact with her again.
No.
You're going to avoid her. Okay. So you still have your job. And when you applied for this job, you had to go through a HR process, correct? You had an interview of how many people?
So I had an interview with Adam and then 3 other HR employees that was there next to me, and they applauded me of how my interview went. Me and my manager was talking for most likely like an hour and a half, and I was telling him everything that I'd done when I was incarcerated. Told him that I had my Serve Safe certification, Serve Safe manager certification, and he applauded me for that. And once they heard that, they hired me on the spot.
So it was not just you walked in the door. This took some process, some time, and they had a chance to evaluate you as a person.
Yes.
For you to get this job. And I'm asking the board to take that into account, that this was not just a walk-in. This was somebody who had to go through a process, who clearly impressed the HR people just to even get a job. And there's been no problem at that job. That's why I believe that what happened here was just a blip. I don't believe you'll be seeing this gentleman back here again. Again, he has done everything he was asked to do. Checking in with parole, halfway house, no dirty urines, no incidents of violence. And even the victim in this did not feel threatened by him in any way and admitted that he did not threaten her. So I would encourage the board to take all of the positives into account and re-parole the gentleman. I don't believe that there's anything else that prison could do for him. He has already done a world of good to get himself to this point. He made a mistake. He realized it. He took responsibility for it. But that should not ruin 5 years of good work in prison and years without tickets.
Thank you. So it sounds like based on testimony provided by the attorney, Mr. Castro, do you fully admit, partially admit, or do you deny the charge?
I fully admit and I take ownership of what I did, and I do truly apologize. And I told my attorney when I was going to court that I fully apologized to the victim. I know I did a rational decision and I made an impulsive decision, and I'm sorry for that. And I do take ownership for what I've done, and I'm truly sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate your statements. So I am going to announce my findings. So I do make a finding of violation on charge 1 condition is criminal conviction based on the conviction and the evidence provided, which I find more credible than testimony offered in opposition to it. So that includes the fact finding portion of the hearing. Should you be re-paroled, do you have a plan to where, at least plan to where you'd like to live, or do you want to explain any of that?
Yeah, so I talked to my parole officer when she came to see me so I could re-sign for my special parole, and I gave her an address, and that's my sister's address.
What would that be? Who's your sister?
Donna Vega Rodriguez.
What's her phone number?
Her phone number, I don't have it on me right now, but my parole officer has it. My mother has to contact her to give it to her.
Do you have an address?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Or 1021 Asylum Ave, apartment 421.
What town?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Anything else you want to say in regards to release plan?
So upon my release, I'm gonna go back to work at Bear's Smokehouse, and I told my manager that I wanted to franchise the Bears because I talked to the owner that owns Bears, and I want to open up my own restaurant. And on top of that, I was going back to school so I could go to do my CNA. And as well as my attorney said, I was taking classes so I could get my real estate license and reading and studying the CDL book that my sister gave me upon my release.
Thank you. So I am going to note on the record, Mr. Castro's parole eligibility date is 4/24/25. His end of sentence is 8/23/25, and the EOS date on the new conviction is 5/1/25. I'm going to now turn this over to the panel chair.
Thank you. Do my colleagues have questions for Mr. Castro? Okay, Ms. Chance.
So I first want to know, is it Mr. Castro that I'm gonna be throwing my questions to, or his attorney, Attorney Dunn? I just need that clarification first.
You can address your questions to me and I will, of course, ask my client to answer them.
Is that Mr. Castro's request? Is that your request, that your attorney, the questions be directed to your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. So Attorney Dunn, if you could ask your client, Mr. Castro, if he remembers me, because I was on his parole hearing when we granted parole to community.
Do you remember this person, sir?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I remember.
Okay. So, first question I wanted to ask you is, I wanted to know because there was reference to the person as your girlfriend. Was she, and this is to you, Attorney Dunn, because that's the way Mr. Castro wants it. Could you please ask him if his girlfriend, who he had the encounter with, was on his visiting list during his incarceration?
Yes.
Sir, she was on his visiting list, yes.
Okay. Was there any reason why she wasn't his sponsor?
Because she was living with her mother at the time.
Okay. So the next question is, when you asked for the pass, did you know that you were going to stop at your girlfriend's house?
Sir?
No, I didn't know I was going to stop at her house because me and her, currently we was on a break and she called my phone and told me to come by, and that's what I did. I know it was wrong for me to come by because the only pass, the rules and regulations for the halfway house is on your pass. You got to go to that direct destination. So when she called me, basically what it was that she wanted to have a conversation and go on a lunch date. And I took the opportunity to go and talk to her, but everything didn't seem how it was going to plan out. And like I said, I take full responsibility for what I did, and I'm sorry about it. And like my attorney said, I didn't use profanity, I didn't threaten her, none of that. And the only thing was I pushed in the air conditioner, and I'm sorry about that. Because it's, the light turned off.
You can wait for him, stand up and wait, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. It's just, like my attorney said, like I'm gonna have to, when I get my release again, take anger management and find and cope with certain other mechanisms so I could really cope with it. So I don't have to react that type of way.
And sir, you did actually go to Walmart, which is what your pass was for.
Yes, as soon as I pushed into AC, I came to realization. I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna end well, and I just left the scene, and I told her that I'm sorry as soon as I was leaving, and to not call the cops, and I took an Uber to Walmart, got the stuff that I needed because that Monday I was gonna parole to my parole house.
Why didn't you just choose to do a phone call with her if all she wanted was a lunch date?
So we did have a conversation about that. And when I did arrive at her house, it was different. Like, she changed, and then to be honest with you, it was too fast. Like, it was everything switched up quick and I ain't really have time for it. And I told her that I was gonna leave, and then she called me a couple names, like it says in the report, and I reacted to it. And then after that, once I reacted to it, I told her I'm leaving, and that's what I did. I left, and I told the police officer when she called me that I left the scene and I'm back at the halfway house. After this conversation that I'm having with you right now, I'm gonna have to notify my parole officer because that's the first thing that my parole officer told me to do if any incident happens or if I get into police contact to notify her. And that's what I did. But my parole officer wasn't picking up. So I guess and I assumed that she already notified my parole officer. And that's when I went down. Yeah.
So, for me, it's not a mistake. I view it as a poor decision-making on your part. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, it's a poor decision making. And it's a poor decision making I would not make ever again because at the end of the day, with me and her, I had a strong relationship with her. And now it's like my parole officer told me to worry about myself, but I'm a type of person, I'm a kind-hearted person. That's what my manager sees in me because I'm a kind-hearted person. I help everybody else before I help myself. And I wanted to.
Mr. Castro, you know how it works, or Attorney Dunn, you know how it works. You have to take care of yourself before you are able to help others, right?
That's true.
Okay, so you may want to keep that in mind going forward. That your first priority is taking care of yourself. And I do acknowledge and I appreciate you admitting now that you do need anger management. It was never an issue when you came up in your parole hearing, but just hearing you talk today and explaining the circumstances of the event, along with, the information that I read, I did have to add anger management. So I am happy to hear you are acknowledging it. And I do appreciate you and your attorney answering the questions today. And I hope going forward that you're going to spend some time working on your decision-making skills.
Yes.
Okay, good luck and thank you for answering. And I'm sure I won't say.
Thank you, Ms. Chance. Mr. Rodriguez?
Just a couple of things. Attorney Dunn, just ask, your attorney started out by sharing with us all the good things you did when you were incarcerated. And in fact, I read your decision before coming in, and it talked about you having taken good intentions, bad choices, which is around decision-making, anger management you were in all these programs that kind of gave you these skills to be able to avoid these kind of situations. What happened that it didn't work for you? Why didn't you use those skills? Because you obviously sold the panel on the fact that you had learned all these things, that you had kind of gotten it and picked it up, and then you get outside, and the minute one thing happens, you resort to not really thinking out what the consequences could have been for you. So just can you share with us why you didn't use those skills?
So I did apply. So one thing that it doesn't say in the report, I did leave and then there was words exchanged and that reacted to me. Like my attorney said to me when he first came to see me, the only type of reaction that you're gonna have with those type of people is the ones that you love the close and the most. So it's like I said, like I had mad feelings for this other individual, and I thought it was gonna be a long-term thing, but it turned out to be a short-term just an incarceration thing. And when I came home, I noticed a couple things and I started peeling back. But to answer your question, I did utilize it to a certain extent, and I failed the mechanism. And sometimes it's harder to really apply certain things like that and those type of aspects, because I do admit to everything that I've done. And you can argue with your mother, you can argue with your significant other, or you can even argue with your brother or sister. To be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to react to that certain extent. So, and I do.
Are you talking about the extent of pushing the air conditioning out the window?
Yeah.
Was that done in lieu of hurting the victim?
No.
Did you do that to avoid acting out on her, or just, what was that
No.
about? I'm trying to figure that out. You were angry, so you, instead of taking it out on her, you took it out on the air conditioner?
So yeah, I took it out the air conditioner, and then basically the air conditioner fell in. So, and I didn't mean to do it, but at the end of the day, like, I take full responsibility that I hit the air conditioner. So,
If I may interject, a little explanation of when I talked with my client, and this, what I said to him was, if somebody got to him at work, if somebody said something to him at work, he would walk away. The only reason why this happened is because there was such an emotional attachment to this person. The only people who can make you resort to bad decisions are usually people you care about the most. And this was somebody he cared about very much. And, you know, it was a bad reaction. Whereas if he ran into somebody else, I mean, he was out for 3 months with no problems with anybody. It's just the people who are closest to you are the ones who can drive you crazy, who can override your sense of making good decisions. What was said to him, if I said it, if you said it, if anybody else said it to him, he would just walk away. The only reason he reacted is because there was such an emotional attachment to this person. And quite honestly, I'm not victim blaming, but I have to say, the people who know you the best are the ones who can say the things that push your buttons the worst.
I appreciate your response, Attorney Dunn. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it, but I appreciate your response. Anyway, I don't have any additional questions. Thank you for answering my question, Mr. Castro. And listen, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. So, Mr. Castro or Attorney Dunn, I just want to confirm, because it's redacted in most of our reports, the victim in this in this disorderly conduct case is the initials of the victim A.H.
yes.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. I have no additional questions. My colleagues, I think, covered any details that we felt we needed to have included. So we will deliberate now.
So, for me, you know, having been on Mr. Castro's discretionary parole hearing, it was very disappointing, considering the fact that he did complete the anger management, and we thought he did so well that we didn't skip it when we put him out. And I hear what Attorney Dunn is saying, that the people he loved the most, but knowing the situation that he was in, first of all, he knew he shouldn't have been there, but he went there. So walking away, knowing that he shouldn't be there, was the right decision. He did acknowledge poor decision making, and now, you know, when we do releasing, he's agreeable to do anger management. And I'm glad that he's going to his sister's house. And I know I read somewhere that she was a good sport for him. So I would be willing to, re-release Mr. Castro on his May 1st, 25 date, which is the end of sentence on the new conviction.
Thank you, Ms. Chance. And Mr. Rodriguez?
I would agree with the releasing him on May 1st. I mean, I'm good with that, but I definitely want to see him taking the anger management course again. Although I think Attorney Dunn makes a point, I think that kind of anger can be struck at just about anyone who annoys him. I mean, if you couldn't control that person, and if you couldn't control the situation, having already taken the course, I find that very challenging. But I would agree with May 1st and making sure that he has another anger management.
I would also agree with the date that Ms. Chance suggested. And my question to my colleagues is, should we consider anger management or domestic violence? If the court considers it a domestic violence case,
Well, I say it should be anger management, and I thought about that.
Okay.
It would have been one thing if he had, tried to hit her or go up in her face or something like that. But the fact that he punched the air conditioning, and I know during the hearing that he did not have any previous domestic violence. So I didn't.
Same thing with me.
Anger
I didn't see, I saw anger
Okay.
management. He at least had the sense of not, going after her, and really took it out on,
Or
an inanimate object.
intimidating her or speaking up
Yeah.
in her face or any of that.
and we did not talk about it in deliberation, but he does not have any prior domestic violence.
No, that's what I
Yes.
just said,
Yes.
he didn't.
So, which is another reason why, at least I think a date of May 1st, 2025 as a re-parole date is appropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. So it is my recommendation that the parole be rescinded with a new voted to parole day, a re-parole date of May 1st, 2025. I will make the following recommendations for additional conditions. The panel would like to add anger management as a condition and no contact with the victim, AH. All the previous conditions of parole will remain in effect. And do I need to state those on the record?
Yes.
Okay, so halfway house if needed, which would also apply now in case things don't work out with his sister. Problem sexual behavior treatment, no contact with minors, no contact with victim SB, and no contact with co-defendants, Daquan Shaw, Anthony Jordan, Marcus Evans, Darrell Anderson, and Amanda Marie Warren. And did I miss anything?
No.
No, okay. So I make that recommendation of those conditions, and it is our recommendation that parole again be rescinded with a new parole date of May 1st, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This concludes rescission here for Mr. Castro, 428-466. All right, do you understand, Mr. Castro?
Yes, I do understand.
Good luck to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're all set for today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Dunn.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, you too as well. Thank you.
Mr. Castro, when you get a chance, arrange a legal call in my office so we can just talk over this to make sure we're on the same page with everything.
Okay, the counselor's not here right now, so she hasn't been here for a couple of days.
No problem, no problem. When you can. I just want to make sure we're on the same page with everything. And again, the reason why you're going home is because of all of the work you have done. You are the reason you're going home. You did all of the positive work. Don't let this blip on your record get you down. Just keep doing what you were doing when you were out and you'll be fine.
All right. And they said what, May 1st, because I'm gonna contact my mom to let her know
Yep.
everything.
May 1st, you're out. And again, just do what you were doing. And again, you're the reason you're going home.